Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a very interesting show today. Yep, we got the SEC 3 permanent opponents. We're going to talk about who's happy and who is not going to be happy. And we've been waiting for this for a while. We're going to go down the list. Some of these teams got a pretty good break, and a couple of them, ooh, man, it's going to be rough. This is all part of the 9 games that the SEC is moving to in 2026. There's part of me that likes the 9 games because, hey, no more Little Sisters of the Poor and the Fighting Possums and playing all those crappy teams. But you're going to lose some teams making the playoff because even though the playoff committee has
agreed
supposedly to take strength of schedule into account, they're not going to do that. They're going to take wins and losses. This is a huge win for the Big 10, Big 12, and the ACC because the SEC is going to punish each other. If you know anything about the conferences, you've got the SEC from top to bottom is the best. The Big 10 has the top that's as good as the SEC on the top, clearly, but their bottom's weak. So the top just beats the crap out of the bottom.
Oh, you better believe that's a pattern.
And then you've got the ACC and Big 12, which, you know, they're decent teams. I'm not sitting here saying they're awful, but they're not to the level of the SEC or the top of the Big 10, and they know that. So Greg Sankey stupidly agreed to that without really looking into it. He's always wanted 9 games. He punished the SEC for not going to 9 games 2 years ago. That's why we had the identical schedule 2 years in a row.
Identical.
That was just to punish the teams that didn't go along with what he wanted. He is a spoiled brat. He's not a bad commissioner, but he's not a good commissioner. He's got his positives and his negatives. But anyway, Tony Petitti took him to the woodshed on that one. But anyway, the one positive of this kind of is that you get 3 permanent opponents. And that's important because you want to keep your Tennessee, Alabama, and now your Texas, Texas A&M, your Florida, Georgia, stuff like that. Now, this is called permanent, but it's really 4 years. Then they're going to look at it again and see if it needs to be adjusted. But anyway, the next 4 years for sure, it's going to be this. And as we take a look at it, let's start with the top with Alabama. They've got Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. Now, you knew they were going to get Auburn. You knew they were going to get Tennessee. They caught a break by getting State, so that'll help them. Arkansas got totally creaked in this. They got Missouri, Texas, and LSU. Sam Pittman, I don't know if he's going to survive this year anyway, but that is brutal. You're talking about 3 teams that probably average 9-10 wins a game. Where's your easy win in that? There are none. So the next 6 they get, you know, you're going to get the permanent 3 plus 6. They better take it easy on the 6 because that is rough. Then you go to Auburn. Of course, they got Alabama and Georgia, which is playing those 2 teams every year is kind of a nightmare. I know because my Tennessee Vols have played them every year forever. They did get Vanderbilt, which typically is a real easy team. Now, old Diego Pavia's made them a heck of a ball club. Nobody really wants to play Vanderbilt this year. Diego's just been the story of the last 2 years. Good for him. Florida, they got Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky. That's okay. The Georgia one you knew they'd get. South Carolina, Kentucky, that's not too bad. That's fair. Georgia gets Auburn, Florida, South Carolina. That's pretty tough. Kentucky, they're not going to be happy. They got Florida, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Folks, they're not happy with that. I'll go ahead and tell you. Florida's tough. Tennessee has beaten Kentucky many, many times, as you know. And Nick, of course, knows.
Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, and their stupid song, and their woo, get their woo on out of here.
And South Carolina can be tough. So Kentucky's not happy. LSU got Arkansas, Ole Miss, A&M. That's okay. That's, you know, decent. Mississippi State gets Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Alabama. See, everybody's worried about Ole Miss. That may not be a problem long term if he goes to Florida. Missouri got Arkansas, A&M, and OU, Oklahoma. That's not too bad. Oklahoma. Missouri, Ole Miss, Texas. That looks awful, and Oklahoma can't be happy about that. But again, if Lane leaves and goes to another job, which he typically does,
how dare you?
It may not be as bad as you think. Ole Miss might fall back. You never know. They might pay him to stay, though, and it depends on what happens to Billy Napier. Ole Miss got Mississippi State, LSU, Oklahoma. That's not too bad. South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky. That's pretty tough. That's not easy. Tennessee, everybody's going to be mad at Tennessee because they got Alabama. We knew we'd get Alabama, but we got Kentucky and Vanderbilt. That's as good as we could have hoped for as far as strength of schedule because we usually beat Kentucky. We pretty much always beat Vanderbilt. Alabama's a different story, but you're going to have at least one tough game out of your permanent three. I was thinking we'd either get Georgia or really Florida is the one I fully expected, or Georgia. Kentucky was the one that was like, well, if we get Kentucky, we really can't complain at all. So Tennessee probably got the best deal out of the permanent three, in my opinion, or at least it's tied. Texas gets Texas A&M, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Those are their three big-time opponents. They should be pretty happy with that. That's three great historical games for them. A&M gets LSU, Missouri, Texas. That's very, very difficult. Woo! A&M, what'd you do to deserve that? And then Vanderbilt gets Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. You knew they'd get Tennessee. Mississippi State, that's, the easiest one they could give them. And then Auburn's been decent. They're a 500 ball club right now, which that's not easy. Poor old Auburn. I've pretty much come to the conclusion that Hugh Freeze is just bad luck. He's had so much bad luck the last 2 years. They found ways to lose last year. And this year they got creaked by Oklahoma. They pulled a trick play on them, which the SEC came out and said basically they had cheated. And they should have been penalized 15 yards. The officiating crew is now being dealt with. Let's just put it that way.
I'm just curious. I saw you shuffling your checks with your right hand. Can you do that with both hands?
No.
Can't do it with both hands?
No, sir.
And they had a horrible pass interference call they didn't make. And they had the scoop and score that I thought it was a touchdown. And they looked at it, and it was so close, I figured they'd just go with the call on the field. It's like everything that could go wrong for Auburn Saturday, went wrong. And Hugh Freeze is Henry Bennett.
What'd you get, Henry? Number 44?
No, 6 7/8.
Oh, Andy, he pulled out the hat size.
Yep, he pulled out the hat size. He can't win. So anyway, those are your three permanents. And this is the big story of the day. Everybody's talking about this, obviously. And the teams that caught the break, Tennessee caught a break, no question. Oklahoma, they didn't get a very good deal coming up. Arkansas, you got a terrible deal. Arkansas is probably the big loser in this. Kentucky probably is not feeling very good. And then the rest of them, it's kind of in between. So there you go, folks. Moving towards the 9 game for next year. We'll see if strength of schedule becomes a legitimate concern or if they're just going to look past it like I expect them to do. But it will assure that we're going to 16 games because Tony Petitti used that as a stick to get Greg Sankey to do what he wanted, and he just led him around like a little puppy dog until he got him to do tricks for him. So, Tony Petitti, good move on your part. Big Ten, y'all should be very happy with Tony. He got you all that money with Fox. Now he's got Greg Sankey jumping through hoops for him. Who'd have thunk it? I thought Tony Petitti was just a piece of Melba toast, but obviously he's not. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom. Won't cost you a dime, help you get my videos. It's a subscribe button. And right over here is the most recent video. YouTube thinks you will like based on your viewing history. Something to do with the algorithm. I don't know the algorithm. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J.
Who are you?
I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you.